press record, and then I go, hello to all you guys out there, blah, blah. Hello to all you guys out there in YouTube land. Yes, it's me, DR, and I thought I would try another way of doing this. So fingers crossed the audio quality is better. If not, I'll have to just start again. In the background is my little doggy who's running around being generally cool. So what's the purpose of this video? So like the other one, I talked about kind of my thoughts about YouTube. This is almost kind of an addendum to that one, so it's going to come out afterwards. And again, as with all videos, every time I decide I'm going to record and do a video, my phone goes off. It's brilliant. I love it. It's fantastic. My God. And the window keeps going. It's like there's someone behind me. And there's my dog, and he's looking at me now. This is fun. Hey, great video start. I was kind of talking about why I moved away from the atheist community on YouTube. I think Noel Plum's done videos on this. I keep mentioning Noel Plum in all my videos. It's like I'm some sort of weird fanboy stalker. But I think he talked about the fact there isn't really an atheist community. I would agree. There's this peak group of people. So if you kind of use that label, apologies as shorthand for people who are atheists on YouTube and are in the kind of collective group. But I find myself distancing more and more from the social justice element. I think we can get so wrapped up, and I've done it myself, wrapped up in the online discussion. I forget there's actually a offline discussion or real world discussion that's happened. I forget that YouTube in some ways is a lot more accepting of people's opinions, just for the fact that people, without blocking someone's channel, can't stop people from uploading. Therefore, there's more of a collective that happens. I also understand that in the real world, actually there's lots of people who aren't part of this discussion, people who observe it, who agree with some parts, agree with 50%, agree with 25%, or don't agree at all, but aren't included in the discussion. So there's a wealth of opinions that aren't here. Also, there's people who just aren't on YouTube. I come across a lot of these people in my day-to-day lives that aren't on YouTube, that have quite what I would think of as, I'm trying to not say ill-informed opinions, not developed opinions, but that's really where I find myself. There's no development in what they're saying. So it's like they read their first encounter of any information and take it as gospel. So if they've happened to have read The Sun, then they attribute The Sun as truth. It's almost the same in American terms. If someone watches Fox News, and all of a sudden they attribute that as news. And for anyone who doesn't know, The Sun is a very well-known newspaper in the UK. Yes, newspapers still exist. It still has an online entity, very similar to the Daily Mail in terms of views, but almost, I'd say, a dumbed down version of the Daily Mail. That, if you think the Daily Mail might include words of 4 syllables, then The Sun's probably going to include words of 3 syllables or less. Very similar to Donald Trump's tweetings. So where am I going with this video? I mean, for me, it's really kind of almost an encapsulation of my own thoughts about there, and I'm almost putting out there to say, well, what do we do? I mean, I think the challenge is that people have already slayed the dragon, or they feel they've already slayed the dragon, which is, that fundamentalist Christian opinion. And actually, if you look at what's happening currently in the Western world, I don't think that dragon has been slayed. It maybe has been slayed in people's minds on the internet, but I think what people are forgetting is that if you look at it from a religious perspective, the thing that really annoyed me in the beginning was that from the theist perspective, the same arguments kept coming up over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I think in the atheistic community's perspective, it was quite frustrating to have to deal with the same arguments. You'd hear that over and over again. Why do I have to deal with the same arguments over and over again? Why do I have to encounter them? Why do I have to confront them? Why do I have to talk about them? But actually, if you see what's happening at the moment, the theists are still using the same arguments. They're still saying them over and over and over again. But because a lot of the atheist community are tired of confronting the same arguments over and over again, there's less arguments being made. If you look at it from a social justice perspective, i.e. the volume of assertions have some attributive value to the validity of the assertion being made. So if the assertion is being made by 20 people, that's more relevant and actually there's more weight to it than the assertion being made by one person. And if you see what's happening currently in the world, the volume of assertions equate some kind of validity of the event, irrespective of evidence. And that's a real key distinction to be made, irrespective of evidence. So as long as loads of people make accusations and loads of people add weight to the argument, in lots of people's minds, there's an argument to be made. So for example, you could have someone in the senior area of authority say, this is fake news. And rather than people delve into it and understand, actually, is that fake news? They take it on face value. Move this now into the theist, atheist conversation, and you'll see that actually what's happening is that because atheists have stopped querying the conversation and there's more weight of theist discussions, and as similar to a Reddit timeline where irrespective of the thumbs up that you give and the votes up that you give an argument, time dictates that that argument will disappear. That's what's currently happening. A lot of the great content is still there on YouTube, but no one's looking at it. No one's seeing it. Well, I'm guessing no one's seeing it because no one's talking about it. People are only talking about what they currently hear about, and a lot of that has a very theist perspective on it, or a very social justice warrior perspective on it. And if you look at the both sides of becoming both as, or seemingly becoming both as fundamentalist as each other, especially on the left and the right wing, what's happening is this real kind of undertone of theist debate, which isn't having a counter argument or having less of a counter argument than happened before, and that's purely online. Now then, if you take that to offline, where the majority of people's views and opinions aren't being challenged whatsoever, there's definitely a gap that's happening in terms of how much content is. And now there is people like Logic who's still kind of doing those videos, and I love the fact he still does Kent Hovind videos, and for me that's quite inspiring. And there's still people like, I'm trying to remember names and I'm probably going to forget a ton of people who are doing names, videos on this. All in all, that weight has dried up, unless I'm missing something, unless you can put in the comments whether I'm missing something, someone. And I think that's also leading to me feeling a little bit like, what are we doing? Now, I don't think anyone has like some sort of, there's no requirement for people to keep talking about religion, and I get the fact that people get bored of it and therefore move on to different content. I get that, I understand that. I just think that actually we're kind of being sidetracked. It's almost like someone he's waving a bell at a cat and going, look over here, look over here, look over here, and we go, oh yeah, well, look over here, and then they're kind of side-blinding us over here, and that's kind of what it feels like to me. I don't know. I'm interested in terms of you guys out there think this is a kind of natural progression of YouTube. Is this something that was bound to happen because people get bored of having the same conversations over and over again? And I will say, there are people like, the Atheist Community of Austin and the Atheist Experience that are still doing that. And I love it. I love the fact that they're reaching people and they're having the same conversation over and over again, but they're still having it because I think it needs to be had. I think persistence is the key here, not just a one-hit wonder. This isn't something that you can just go, boom, we sorted it, it's done, and then go away and fight some other battle. And I also think anyone who thinks, I've made a video, I put it out there, and I'm not going to revisit that video, I'm not going to go over that video, I'm not going to is missing a point. I think that's quite naive to think, I've made it, if you want to argue the point, go watch that video again. Now, I'm not saying kind of remake content, but actually, if you think that put out videos, that people are going to go over those, I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't read newspapers from a year ago. So when the article comes up, they republish and they write it. And maybe they include information from a year ago. They don't say, go see our new article from a year ago. And I think that's what happens on YouTube. People go, I made a video, not gonna revisit it. And actually, maybe we should. Maybe people should go back over their content, review it, and republish it. You know, we're not television. And I think we seem to think we're television, and that someone is going to go, okay, I'm gonna watch my favorite episodes of Friends. I mean, how many, actually, honest question, how many of you guys re-watch old videos from the people you like? And how many of you watch the whole content again, or go back and watch one or two? I'm really curious, actually, because from my perspective, I never go back and re-watch old videos. Okay, tell a lie. If it's someone like Potholer, I will do. But some of these videos out there are like an hour and a half long. I mean, I've watched things like Red Letter Media, but that's not kind of in this community. There's lots of videos actually now I think about it, like Phil Helene's stuff was brilliant. I haven't watched his stuff in ages. I don't even know if his channel is around there. Note to self, go and have a look to see if his channel's still there. There's lots of content that I haven't re-watched. So from my perspective, I know that there's loads of arguments that I know have been answered, but I haven't gone back. And if I was someone from a theist perspective, why would I even bother to trawl through all of your videos to find the one that's relevant for the argument I'm having? All I would do is I'd ask the question now, because I'm the one asking it. I wouldn't go and watch someone else's content from 5-6 years ago just to see if they answered one of my videos or answered one of my points. Anyway, this is DR saying, peace out, have a safe journey. I'd love to know what you guys think. Is it the fact that, is this natural? Also, how many people do go back and rewatch videos? Because I know I don't. And so that raises the point that just because we've had the argument once, or we've made a video once, is that the end of it? And now, because everyone's moved on to social justice, that's where the views are, that we move suit with it? Is that what we're saying? What we're saying is our original point isn't valid anymore because we made that argument? We don't need to make it again? I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, this is DR saying peace out, have a safe journey wherever you're heading.